Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Passion, Purpose, and Possibilities. I'm your host, Kenny Ingersoll, with my co-host, Michael. How you doing today, Michael?
Good.
Awesome. So, real quick, Michael, what's new on your channel?
I got pretty much a tutorial video.
A new tutorial video?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So, as many people know, he does videos about Minecraft and Roblox, among other things. And so, you'll find his channel connected to mine, but awesome stuff going on. But hope everyone is doing well. We got some great things coming on. Excuse me. Halloween coming up. Hope everyone's excited for that. I'd love to hear what your Halloween traditions are. We decorate quite a bit. Sometimes we'll do a haunted house in our driveway. A lot of fun with that. A lot of great opportunities to connect with neighbors and friends. So comment below what you do for Halloween. And if we get some chats, we'll talk about them next week as well. So we got a great guest. You want to introduce our guest today? No? All you have to do is read.
No.
But great guy. I've been a guest on his show. If you don't know his show, highly recommended to check it out. And we'll talk about it during the show some more. So, Phil Better, the podcast mogul, he has an ambitious goal, and I'm excited for it. His goal is to be known globally. All right, Phil, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing great. I don't know what just happened there.
I don't know. I think my computer froze for a second while I was bringing you on, and then it took a mind of its own for a second.
I'm glad to be on this show. I'm glad everything is working and we're not frozen in time, because you were just frozen there for a bit. I'm like, is it my computer? I don't know. Just gotta love the podcasting world, right?
Oh yeah, you just roll with the punches.
So how are you doing today, Kenny?
We are doing fabulous. How are you?
I'm doing great. I love that you have a co-host as your son. I'm presuming it's your son and not a random child that just decided to walk in.
I just go and hey,
just grab a random kid outside. Yeah, this is the kid. This is the co-host of the day, Mike, John, Bill. I don't know. I just found him outside.
Yeah, this is my son Michael. He's a great co-host, and we've been learning a lot together, and we're doing lots of great things. So
I have a YouTube channel too.
You do? I heard your dad was talking about it. You do Roadblocks and Minecraft, right?
Yeah.
A little more. There you go.
There you go.
My channel name is Fishman Mick.
Fishman Mick. Well, Mike, I'm going to go follow you as soon as this is done. I'm going to go jump on YouTube and follow you, because got to support the young guys when they're young, because you have to take care of your dad. So we got to make sure you get over 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time so you can monetize your channel, man. And so you can start saving up for whatever you want. We got to help that so you can invest and be like you watch Mr. Beast? Sometimes, yeah. We want to get you to become the Mr. Beast of Minecraft. Can we do that? Do you think that's a reasonable goal, man?
Say heck yeah.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
I think you can. I believe you can. That's what
You're
I think.
my retirement. I'm counting on you.
Yeah, our parents' generation may have messed with the economy, so we have to survive on you. But no, I think that's great. I want you to continue that, because you know how many years Mr. Beast worked until he got to where he was? He started when he was 11, okay? And he didn't pop off until he was 17. That means 6 years. 6 years. So if you put 6 years into it and you continually improve your stuff, there's a good chance. How old are you? You're 10 right now?
9.
You're 9. Okay, you're 9. So you're nearly at the same age as Mr. Beast when he started his. You're starting a little early. So if you at 9 plus 6, that's 15. By the time you're 15, if you put in the practice, you could end up as big as Mr. Beast was.
Or sooner.
Or sooner. Yeah, you just keep doing
Your
that
face.
work, because it's growing and growing. Because you got your dad working on his stuff, promoting your channel. You're doing your stuff to promote your channel, right? Whenever you're out there with your friends, and then you're like, hey, subscribe to me, give me some ideas, or team up
Yeah.
with other guys, and then before you know it, you're gonna be huge, huge. Do you live stream or do you just do record videos?
I sometimes live stream, but I mostly do videos right now.
You do videos, okay. What I would suggest you do, and this is what I do with my stuff when I create content for my my listeners and my followers, is I live stream while I'm recording a video or recording an episode, so they get they get the stuff firsthand, and then I can repurpose it as a podcast in audio form for my audience, or video onto YouTube. So that's something you can think about doing when you record those videos. Yeah, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to flub a line, or whatever it is, or mess up doing it. But that's okay, because you're doing it to your audience, and they love the authenticity, because they get to see the stuff firsthand. You go, guys, look, I'm going to teach you guys how to XYZ. Okay, let's say, build some crazy contraption in Minecraft. I don't know. I don't play Minecraft. I have zero
Like how to
ideas.
break bedrock was my latest video.
Okay, how to break rock, right? So what you do is you live stream, and you guys, because there's people who probably never played Minecraft and don't know about this, right? And they may follow you because they're your buddy, right? And then they go, oh, cool, that's so cool, I want to learn. And then they're gonna go, hey, Mike, can you teach me a bit more? You go, yeah, sure. And they jump on your live stream, and you get them to live stream with you, right? And you build that community, right? Because maybe your buddy John or Mel or whoever, maybe they have a better personality, or they're better at editing, or they have a better group, right, of followers. They build up you, but you're in their videos, right? Because you're a main contributor, and boom, they're going to come over and start following you and supporting you. And then it's just boom, you bring in another person. Before you know it, you're like, you're a hobsnobbing with a guys like Dream and Mr. Beast, because I know Mr. Beast has a gaming channel that plays Minecraft. You never know. Like, that's a possibility, man. If you just start today and you just have fun with your friends, and you share that fun with others on YouTube, people are gonna love it, and they'll come get it. You let your dad handle all the hard work, like the SEO and marketing and all those big words. You have fun. You have fun playing games with your kids and editing all that. Before you know it, kid, you're gonna be bigger than Mr. Beast in the Minecraft, or bigger than Dream. I think Dream is the big one now in Minecraft. I don't know. Is he?
Mr. Beast and Dream are pretty close, but I think
No, I
Dream
know
has
Mr.
around-
Beast is bigger. I know Mr. Beast is bigger because he's just nearly at 100 million, I think. I know he
Oh,
passed
he's
50
already
million.
at 100 million. He's past.
Yeah, he is. He is at 100 million. So I know he's huge. Dream, I think Dream is just bigger Minecraft wise. That's what I think. I don't know. I don't.
That's
follow
what I was saying. I think.
Yeah.
And well, I actually don't think so. I think Dream has a.
I don't know if you're frozen or I'm frozen.
Nope, seems like one of your streams having connection issues.
All right, there we go. You're back. Or I'm back. I don't know which one was back. Someone was back.
I think it was my end. Some of the
Sus.
one of the stream things kept having the connectivity.
No
issues.
worries. No worries. All right. So yeah, kid, you got this. You follow your passion, like your dad's podcast is: passion, purpose, possibility. So if you have a passion, you have a purpose, and there's unlimited possibilities. Like, kid, your passion is playing Minecraft and Roblox right now. Go 100% into it. You got the time. Like, you don't have to stress about bills. Daddy's got to stress about bills. You got the time. You got the time to play. You organize it properly, and you put in the work into it as more of a business, quote unquote. You don't make it a full business, but you think of it as like a business, and you go, okay, these are the hours that I work on my streaming or my videos. These are the hours I come up with ideas for it. And you go maybe an hour or two a day, and before you know it, you're going to be building up a repertoire. You're going to have these skills that you'll be able to monetize without without even realizing it, because you're going to become better at editing videos because you know what your audience likes. You're going to be better at audio, script writing, all that stuff, and you'll be a major commodity because everything's moving digitally. You're very lucky because me and your dad, we started the internet, or started, quote unquote. We started on the internet when it was like, we don't know what we're doing. We're in the Wild West, right? Anything is possible. And it's still technically the Wild West. Well, let's say the land was discovered, the internet was discovered, and it was like the new world, like you're learning in history. New world, nobody knows what's going on. The people who are already there are not very friendly to us, and we started paving the way. But it's still the Wild West. By the time you grow up and you become our age, or even in your 20s, the Wild West will be more civilized. Like the internet will be more civilized. There's going to be an infrastructure set up specifically so people can make money on the internet. That's where it's going. It's going to be the digital world. It's Web 3.0 right now is being built. By the time you're our age, it's going to be Web 0.5, 6, 7. I don't know. But it's going to be a completely different thing than what we're using right now. Like your dad right now, I have a great idea, Kenny. I want to talk to you later about your podcast, or we can talk on air, if up to you. But I love how you're bringing your son into it, and I think you could use this as something as a community builder in your community. Be the hub for your community, and I what I mean by your community, I mean your actual geographical community, not your internet community, your digital community. I'm talking about your direct community, because you have such a great passion for it, and I think you could highlight some amazing people in your community and bring them on your show and have these great conversations with them, and that could help really for your market. It will grow your podcast, and you can be like creating more of a community channel, highlighting your community members and making it amazing for them, even children, like all ages, like teachers, everybody who's in the community, in your area code, if you will, or something like that, or your postal code or something like that. That's something I would suggest you do, because then you can get local businesses to sponsor the episode, and so you're being more of like a local radio show, but you have a larger reach because you can reach out to people in Mumbai, India, if you will.
Absolutely, I love that idea. Thank you.
No problem. Anyways, so I don't know why am I here? I keep forgetting why I am here. I like just to talk. I love talking about podcasting. It is my passion. It is my purpose, and it's given me unlimited possibilities. Because it gets me to connect to a person like you, Kenny, and to a future generational entrepreneur in the digital space. Your kid's going to be huge, even if he doesn't follow, or if they don't follow the choice to continue in like 5-10 years in YouTube. They choose to become an engineer. They choose to become a doctor or whatever. That's cool too. I just love that they have the passion right now for it.
So yeah, and I think that was a great unplanned
segue.
There's a lot more than just an intro, because we're 15 minutes into it, but it's exactly what the show is about. Just living your passion and exploring the possibilities. Because if I didn't explore the possibilities, I wouldn't have connected with you, and then given that great ideas and recommendations to Michael, and all the things that he's getting through this channel and through his channel experiences. Stop. And and then the ideas that you had, and connecting with each other's circle of influence, circle of networks, and I love it. Just open to fulfill your passion. We're just doing our passion.
Yeah. Podcasting has given me more than I think I can ever repay it. It's allowed me to connect with some amazing individuals like yourself. Like some of my clients, Lloyd Ross has helped me on, like, there's no way I can pay him back for the help he's given me, because he took a chance on me to build his podcast brand, and now it's in the top 20. It was in top 1 in Australia. It's now back in the top 20. Last time I checked, it's over 100,000 downloads. It's helped him helped him create 6 figures in one of his funnels. Like, it's done unimaginable things for him, but on the flip side, it's someone trusted me enough, like I believed I had it, but then someone trusted me enough to build their podcast for them and help them build it and give them the advice necessary. Now he's the co-host of another podcast, Stock Dirty to Me, which I also host and produce, which has also been monetized as well. And it's like he was the first, and from him believing in me that I can help him do a top 10 podcast. And within like the first 6 months we were together working together, he was a top 1%, a top one podcast on the Apple iTunes charts, and he's a top 3% podcaster through Listen Notes now. So like just him having that faith in me to build the podcast for him, and it's just proven like my purpose is to help people build podcasts that can help them either monetize their brand, increase their reach if necessary, or just like connect with people that they want to. Like the people, like I look at it on the flip side, like, yeah, my podcast has built my business, but also my podcast has connected me with people that I would never have had the opportunity to chat with beforehand. And for me, that's more important. Like I love talking with people. People have so many interesting stories, and they like you have found on this show, you've talked to them about their passions and what they feel their purpose is and the possibilities that can come from it. And I that is like so much fun to learn, like learning about people's dreams, learning about what makes them tick, why they became an entrepreneur, why they became a podcaster, like specifically having you on my show, Invest in Yourself, the podcast series, where I interview podcasters about their show and get their tips in that. I just love, like, I would love to have, like, why did you become a real estate agent? Like, why did you become, an entrepreneur? That's why I started the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. So it was like a twofold. Like right now it's flipped into why did you become an entrepreneur? But before it was like, I was trying to become an entrepreneur. So I wanted to learn from these digital entrepreneurs, and they've helped me extensively. Having so many different people on my show, I've amassed a wide range of knowledge, right, on the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. But now it's like finding out their why. Like, why did you become an entrepreneur? Like what led you to being this here? And what is it about entrepreneurs? Is there something special about them? Are they a different breed of humans? Like just speaking with them. But I found that no, they're just, anybody can be an entrepreneur. It's just you want to create. The minute you want to create, you become an entrepreneur. Because you're an entrepreneur pretty much is just putting things out there. It's just putting things out there, seeing if they'll work or not. And what does an artist do? What does a content creator? What does a creative person do? They put things out there to see if they work. If they don't, they go, oh, well, and they move on to the next thing, and they try again and they try again. Right? That's what an entrepreneur does. They build businesses. They're creating art. Business is art, because the way you have to think about it, there's so many different domains, different strokes that you can do. Like you can focus on marketing your business, and now if you just look at the marketing, there's thousands. You have old school marketing with like email, well, not emails, like letter campaigns, or posters, billboards, TV ads, radio ads. Like you have that physical media of promotion, but then you also have the digital media of promotion, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, doing ads there, doing oh, cool filters, promotional filters to build your brand awareness. Like there's so many different ways of, when you go into an art, just in marketing. Now that's just marketing. Then you have to go into copywriting part of marketing, or like, so with being an entrepreneur, you are creative because you have to create these ideas of getting your business out there, especially when you're a solo entrepreneur. When you're just starting out, you have to be creative on how you're marketing, how you're offering your services, how you're getting clients. You're being creative. You're using so much creativity. So an entrepreneur is a creative. We all are creative in some way. Like your son is creative because he's going about a passion right now is Roadblocks and Minecraft, and he wants to teach people about it. Or he just wants to make videos on YouTube to make money, but it's still, you're creating something. And eventually it may lead him down to be an entrepreneur, because most creatives want to make money, and the only way to make money is, you have to learn business. And what is an entrepreneur? It's a business person, right? They're the creative business person. So
Exactly.
So for me, like, I wanted to learn to be an entrepreneur. Then I found out that I'm a creative. I'm a podcaster at heart. 100%. I will make as many podcasts as I can because I want to interview people. I want to leave. My goal, like, yes, is to help have everybody 7 billion right now, 7 billion podcasts out there. I want everybody to have a podcast, end of discussion, and make them monetizable so that they can just do whatever they want in their life. Right? Like, I don't know. I don't understand why people are fearful of robots taking jobs. You know what that does? It frees you up to follow your passion. Because if we have robots, picking our crops, or building our buildings, that means where people aren't dying, people aren't suffering under the sun, or falling off a building. Because if a robot falls off, yes, it sucks because the robot broke and we have to repair it, or it can damage something. It sucks, but versus a human life, I'll take a robot falling off a building every day of the week versus one human falling off every 1,000 days, because that person's life is meaningful. It's impacting someone else's life. We don't know what will happen in the future, but that frees you up to follow your passion, to be able to say, hey, look, I want to learn about this. I can start a podcast and I can learn about real estate like that. I can go to real estate conventions, say, hey, I want to talk about real estate, this and that, have thousands of real estate people on my podcast, learn about real estate, learn the different methods of real estate. I had a real estate coach on my podcast. He lost everything in the 2008 crash. Okay. He was in real estate for like 20 years beforehand. The crash happened, wiped him out. His credit was horrible. He had to figure out creatively how to continue his business. And he does. And now he teaches people how to create real estate wealth using not creative finances like hiding money, but like legally ways how to use other people's money to build your portfolio so that you become rich, or wealthy in real estate, and how to protect yourself so that if something happens, you don't get devastated like the 2008 crash. Those are some of the people I met, and I have his books. That's someone in my network. So if I decide to do a podcast on real estate, like learning about real estate agents or learning about how to be creative in real estate, I have an access to someone and I can do that. And then that opens me up, my network opens up and I can learn about that. And then if I decide to take the test, I'll have all this knowledge, get my realtor license. But now I have all this knowledge that I learned because I spent 30 hours talking to people, or 300 hours, depending on how many hours, talking to these different people who are successful. And I have their knowledge.
I'll talk to you later.
I have their knowledge. I have their knowledge to go and go into my business, So this is what podcasting has done for me. Like it has opened so many possibilities, so many doors for me that I just
sorry,
have
1
so much
second.
fun. No problem, man. So podcasting has brought so much to my life. It can bring so much to other people's because it can connect you with your ideal guests. I've had opportunities to talk with people outside my world, and that's the greatest possibility.
Oh, sorry about that.
No worries, no worries. I understand having a kid. They have questions that they need help with stuff.
So he was just saying how much you inspired him. He's heard about sponsorship, but he wanted to share how much you inspired him to look further into it and continue down different paths with his shows.
Oh, I'm glad that I was able to inspire with that. That's great. Like that's made my day. That just made my day that I inspired someone to take a deeper look into his channel and see what he can do to grow.
Thank you. I love what you shared there, and thank you for sharing all that. And there's a few things that I want to talk more on. Is like with my son's channel, he's just started. He's not sure if he's going to end up over here or end up over there, whatever, and that's okay. You just get started and you find out what niche you want to go down and what road, and you might have multiple podcasts or multiple channels that you do at the same time or whatever, So I love how you brought that up, and then on your intro, it made me the question and some of the other things you said. Another Another word that starts with P is permission. You know, who gave Phil permission to want to be the podcast mogul, the
I
global
did.
podcast mogul?
I did. I gave permission to myself.
I love that. And when you were talking about robots taking over, and that's an aspect I haven't thought of necessarily, but the small thinking that could be, people don't give themselves permission to do anything to follow their passion, unfortunately. And if your passion is construction or whatever, by all means go for it, because I know lots of people that are passionate. That's their artwork. They're
Oh
the
yeah,
Leonardo
Da
of
Vinci. Yeah.
construction. Yeah, you know, but I love how you said that, to open and free yourself up to follow your passion and give yourself that permission again to do whatever, to make mistakes, to try this. And I don't want to say fail, but because as
I
long as you keep
fail is.
trying.
I think we have a warped definition of failed, or a warped view of fail, or failing, because of we're coming from a school system where it's just pass or fail. It's like, did you pass the test? Yes. Now, how much you passed doesn't, the degree doesn't matter if you got an A or not. You passed. If you failed, it was bad. You didn't know your stuff. You didn't study. Well, going into the creative world, becoming an artist is about knowing the rules, but also bending them, because you can't have art if you like. Everyone was taking a picture like this straight on, and then someone was like, no, I'm going to do it from this angle. And everybody's like, oh my God, that's avant-garde, because no one could move in the original pictures because it took like 3 minutes. You're like, everyone hold still. Or, the painting, you had to stay still with the painting. We didn't have any picture, right? So the minute we started shifting perspective, you start playing with the boundaries that is what's considered your niche, your creativity, right? So playing around those boundaries and pushing the rules is what creativity. You'll fail because either you're push it too far and you're outside your market, and people are like, no, 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 that's not good. Like when you look at some artists that go from, they try and go from pop to reggaeton, and you're like, whoa, you can't do that. Like, there's no artist that does that. No one's crazy, but an artist that goes pop and then goes like pop rock, that's still within the boundaries of pop. They're playing within their boundaries. And so, but it pushes their boundaries, they've been constructed in, as long as you're playing within those boundaries. And if it fails, it fails. Who cares? Did you die? No. Continue on with life. Did you hurt someone? No. Continue on with life. There's a great quote that video that I watched with Tom Hanks. He has it's like an actors round table, and it talks, and it was a short that I saw, and so I went in to watch the whole video, and it's fantastic. And it starts with, this too shall pass. This pain you're feeling, this too shall pass. That sadness you're feeling, this too shall pass. You just landed a major deal, this too shall pass. That excitement, this too shall pass. That joy, this too shall pass. Everything is fleeting. And so when you're stuck in the mud, it feels like it won't get better. It gets suckier and suckier. But if you remember, this too shall pass, you've 100% survived your worst day. Because there was a day you said, this is the worst day of my life. And then 10 years later, you say, this is the worst day of my life. And maybe another 10 years, this is the worst day. You want to know what the worst day of your life is going to be? It's the day they put you into the ground. Because that's the day you stop. That is the worst day of your life, because you can't continue after that. Everything else you can survive. Falling off a mountain, breaking your arms, you can survive that. You have to amputate an arm. You amputate an arm. We have 3D printed arms now that you can use. If you can't afford, the prosthetics, the major prosthetics. This too shall pass. Everything you go through life will pass, because you will survive it. Your best days, there are better days coming. Because I'm pretty sure, Kenny, when you were living your life as a free young man, gallivanting across the plains, you're like, this is the best day of my life. And then your son was born. And I'm pretty sure that became the best day of your life. Then your son took his first steps. That was the best day. You landed some major corporate deal. That was the best day of your life. You met me. That became the best day of your life. Like our best day of our life, they're always coming. There's never going to be a defined best day because we compare them to the previous version. Like, where were we? Like, what was our state of mind? Like, when I quit my job, that was the best day of my life. It was also the most terrifying day of my life, but it was the best day because I bet on Phil. Has it been all fun and lovey-dovey and yay? No, it's been terrifying every single day because I have to wake up and be like, I have no clue what I'm doing, but I have to build a business. All right, let's get into it. Let's figure out how I'm going to fail today and continue on, because I think it's Thomas Jefferson that said he found 1,000 ways that light bulbs don't work, or I found 1,000 ways to fail and one way to work. But he embraces the suck. The suck is where the fun is. People forget the suck sucks, but if you figure out how to get past that suck and figure out how to, market your podcast a different way, monetize your show, like, Kenny, let's say you decide to go down the path of making Passion Purpose Possibilities a community show for your geographical community, however you want to regulate that. Is it the state? Is it the city? Is it the township? Is it the little community neighborhood? Is it the street? Whatever you want to do, or whatever you geographically decide what is the community. Where was I going with this? Hold on. To monetize it now, you have a possibility. You're creating that community. You're creating that friendships. You're going to create possibilities that other people don't know. Maybe there is. Maybe you interview one person who has this great story, great passion, and they get inspired by you to create their own podcast. You just create more art. Your legacy continues because they're going to say, I thank Kenny for this one time. All they have to do is thank. So with podcasting, you have that possibility. Like, it was the most terrifying day of my life. It was also the greatest day when I bet on myself. And when you start betting on yourself, you start creating art. You change the mold. You change the story who you are. I'm rambling now, and I'm just going down, like, trying to throw like inspiring things into the mix here, but like just trying to figure out what will work. Like, I'm reading a book by Seth Godin that says failing happens. Failing will happen. You'll always fail, but you have to look at failing as learning, because it's not a test. Life is not a test. Okay. Like I said, your worst day is the day you die. Every other day you'll be better and better. No matter what, you survived 100% of your days. But the book by Seth Godin says you have to fail. You fail, period. End of discussion. It's how you get back from that. What do you do to get back from that failure, that knockdown? Brush yourself off again and say, oh, okay, well, let's try again. Because you know how many books have been published or about to be published by authors, and then another author, a famous author, publishes a book very similar to theirs, and then they're like, well, I can't release this now, because if I release this, they're going to think it's a copy. Oh, well, back to the drawing board. Do you think they care? There's so many books unpublished because other authors have published theirs that are similar, or painters or photographers or film. Well, if we look at films, how many times there's knockoff of films?
Oh yeah.
Just look at Scary Movie. Like, just that's a knockoff of, the Scream movie, or a parody. It's a parody, but it's still, it's a copy.
Yeah.
It's okay to copy, just add your own little twist to it. Like this podcast. Podcasting is very simple. Two people talking, or one person talking into a microphone and other people listening. Boom. That's the basis of a podcast. Now you can window dress it all you want with we're going to speak about this, or we're going to talk about that, or we're going to market it this way, we're going to market it that way. This is our fun twist. Da, 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 da. It doesn't matter. Because a podcast is simply an individual or two individuals or more talking into a microphone, putting that conversation on the internet. Simple as that, and other people listening. Whether or not it's 1 or 1,000 people listening or 1,000 people watching live like we are right now, that has nothing, doesn't matter, because a podcast is simply 2 people conversing or 1 person conversing.
Absolutely.
That's all it is. So like everything's a copy of everything else. Like everybody's like, oh, I want to be like Joe Rogan. Okay, you're copying Joe Rogan. What's your twist? Joe Rogan has like 7 to 8 different niches that he covers. Which niche are you covering if you're Joe Rogan? You know, so which version of Joe Rogan are you? Anyways, I'm just gallivanting around. You must have questions on questions for me.
No, and you're expressing your passion behind podcasting and why you do it. And I love the saying out there. I've heard it a lot. You never really fail until you quit.
That's true too.
So like you mentioned with Thomas Edison and the light bulb, he had 2,000. I've heard 2,000, and I've heard 10,000, whatever the number is, ways that he had to try before he got the light bulb to work.
Yeah.
You know, he failed, but he didn't fail.
He found ways of not working. That's it. It doesn't work. Okay, move on. This doesn't work. This doesn't work. I didn't fail. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Someone else can make it work. I can't make it work. I didn't fail. That's how you have to change your thinking. If you change your thinking from, oh, I'm going to fail, to I'm going to find a way that doesn't work for me, or just add yet to it. It doesn't work yet. Because it will work. Nothing's impossible. Like, it's only impossible if you think it's impossible. If you think everything's possible, anything is possible. Everybody thought running under 4 minutes a mile or something like that was impossible. Some guy did it, and then like a week later, like 18 other people did it, you know? Oh, if it's possible, then I can do it. Like, I don't think it's possible to run a mile in a minute, like in a second, because that's just physically impossible. But can we get it under a minute? Maybe. Who knows in the next 100 years what genetics is going to happen to us, or what steroids, or what advancement in technology is going to come, right? You know, no one knows. Maybe it's going to be we'll be able to run a minute on the moon, you know, like, because we're going to have this boom, mile in a minute, you know, on the moon, you know, like we'll have the moon races or something like that. I don't know. But if you automatically say it's impossible, then yeah, it is. Yeah. If you think it's possible, hey, anything's possible. Like someone says, well, right. Like if you're at the end of your life and saying, I want to go to Mars. Let's be realistic. You're at the end of your life. Getting you to Mars is probably improbable. It's not impossible. It's improbable. Because will you survive getting up to Mars? Who knows? Like, it's a 2-year trip, and it's only like certain times of the year that we can launch because it's the closest window and blah, blah, blah. But like, everything is possible. Like, people said we couldn't get to the moon. We got to the moon. People said we couldn't get to Mars. We got to Mars. People said we couldn't land something on an asteroid. We landed something on an asteroid. You know, everything is possible. It's just how dedicated you are to it. Like, what is your passion? My passion is to make podcasting. Everyone have a podcast, and everybody make a living from podcasting, because it is the next radio. It's radio, period. This is radio, streaming radio. And what we're having right now, Kenny, we're doing a live TV show. That's what I look at it, because that's what it is. This is a TV show. This is the next generation of TV show. People can stream TV. They're streaming it on YouTube. You're streaming, like, YouTube is a channel. It's the TV. YouTube is the TV, and every single they call it, you have a YouTube channel. So YouTube is a TV because you view stuff on it. You can get TV shows, you can get movies on there, you can get everything like you can get on a TV, but you have a billion channels to go through. Your choice is unlimited.
Yeah.
And anything you're looking for, you can find on. Like, YouTube is the second largest search engine online. Google is number 1, obviously. YouTube is number 2, but YouTube is your TV. Is now TV for a large portion of the generations that follow. Like, your son's generation probably doesn't watch TV as much as we did. They're more on YouTube because they're finding things that they actually like. We didn't have a choice. Like, TV started with 3 channels, and now it had, like, you have 100,000 channels. Get all the channels across all the world. But those are the channels that I don't want, because most of them are showing the same stuff. But YouTube is completely original content. I can find something in Korean. If I want to learn a Korean, I can learn someone can teach me Korean the way I want to learn Korean. Or I want to learn something about Japan. I can learn something about, if I'm going to Japan, what's the proper way? So when I get there, I'm not insulting, like top 10 mistakes foreigners make in this country. You can find thousands of channels like that. And so you can go when you travel, you don't have to be like every other foreigner. You can be an educated foreigner. You may not know a lot, but you know the customs, the bare minimum, and people are going to appreciate that. They're going to think you're nicer. They're going to be friendlier with you. That's what YouTube can teach you. And all the other stuff, all the social media things are different. You can equate to different things in the real world. So YouTube is TV, podcast is radio, and you have different radio stations.
And like we talked before, just doing your thing. A lot of channels and a lot of things on YouTube started out by people wishing they would have known this beforehand, and now they want to share their experience. They didn't ask permission or whatever. They weren't trying to, fit in a box. They were just sharing their experience, and 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 then someone else saw that and they wanted to, oh, well, I did this over here, so I'm going to share my experience about this, or
yeah. Or this guy said, I watched this video. Like I watched a video on Kenny, Mike's channel about how to do this. And I learned that sometimes if you do this, it's even better. I'm going to film a video on it. And so someone else can learn that. And then Mike can go, hey, I love that video. Boom, boom, back and forth. And before you know it, a friendship is bonded. You're making a friend with some kid halfway across the world. It's super amazing what has happened and how you can build a life online and have it also connect to your real world. It's insane.
I love it. There's so many opportunities that can open up just by having a conversation.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And on that note, I think it's a good segue. You host a mastermind.
Yes, I do.
People wanted to learn more. Tell us a little bit about what your mastermind covers.
So it's the Better Than Average Mastermind. It's hosted by myself, Phil Better, the podcast mogul, and my podcasting partner, if you will, in this is Mike Calavani. I keep messing up his last name, but he hosts the Average Joe's Finance podcast. And it's a podcast where he helps average Joes increase their financial IQ through real estate and stuff like that, specifically on the real estate market. But he helps you increase your IQ because he's in the Navy, or he's actually just retiring from the Navy after many years of service. He actually ends in December as his official retirement. He's on what's called the pre-leave, or there's a fancy word for it. I don't know what it is. But he's allowed to grow out his beard, so he's very happy about that. He's sporting a beard, but he uses real estate to build his wealth outside of the Navy. So that was his side hustle. He started a podcast teaching people like that, and it's grown and grown since then. So we connected because I interviewed him, or he interviewed me, one of the two, and we started collabing. And he wanted to do a mastermind, so we did this mastermind. And I think we're at $300 for 3 months. Every 3 months you pay $300. But what it is it's a bi-weekly meeting of an hour where I or Mike teach you something specifically for about 15 minutes on podcasting. So something that can help you grow your podcast, something that can make podcasting easier. And then we put someone in a hot seat. One of our members is in a hot seat. And for the rest of the next 40 minutes, they provide us with okay, I'm facing this difficulty. Okay. And then as a group, we come together with ideas to help them. So it's oh, I'm trying to find guests. Okay. How about we try blah, 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 using, referrals from previous guests, or using Facebook groups or Twitter messaging and stuff like that. So we work together and we solve the problems as a group so that we can help. And sometimes it's the group is oh, so I just launched one of our guys, Anthony, Rich Nation, Anthony of Rich Nation. He talked about doing an Airbnb contest, and he's been trying to do a contest for a while. So we're oh, use this website called King Sumo. It's great. Mike has used it a few times to launch his contest, and I use the AppSumo products because they're just friggin' amazing. So and I got Mike onto it, and he does King Sumo, and so he suggested King Sumo. Anthony used it, and within I think he ran his first contest, he got an extra 100 emails into his email list. And he's now an expert in running contests. I ask him all the time about his running contests. He has doubled his list nearly every single time he's run a contest on King Sumo. So either through books, through either it's books giveaways, Amazon gift cards, Airbnb gift cards, whatever it is, he's nearly always doubled his list since he's joined the mastermind, because we're giving him strategy. I go out and learn stuff specifically for him on like doing contests or growing your email list and what you should be emailing and how to get that email turning into potential clients, because he runs Airbnb rentals. So he uses his podcast to push people to his Airbnb rentals. So that's what he does. So we help them create that. We helped another guy secure 3 sponsors for his podcast and a potential brand deal with one of them where they make a brand exclusive with his podcast. This is what the mastermind has done, right? And another one has 2 people have launched their podcasts from it, and have done connected with an amazing people. And they have you have access to people. I've monetized my podcast in 5 different ways. Mike has monetized his in 2 different ways. We're also growing from them as well, because we're learning from them, and so that we're making our podcast better, and then come back and teach them. So it's like a continual rolling of knowledge. So yeah, if you're interested in learning more, you can go to feelbetterinc.com/mastermind. And it will redirect you to the mastermind website, and you can learn all about that great mastermind that we have, and all the testimonials are there, and you can learn more about it. But yeah, the mastermind is for podcasters who want to grow or monetize their podcast. We help you with anything, any questions you have. The group will help you. If we don't know it live there, I will make sure to go out and find out how to do it. That's my job in this group. And at the end of it, we do a goal setting. We set goals for the next meeting. Like, okay, guys, what are your goals for the next meeting? Is it to interview? Is it to reach out to sponsors? Is it X, Y, Z, and this and that? So we reach out to each one of them, and both me and Mike, we put in our goals as well. And we're held accountable by the group, and we hold you guys accountable. And we have a private Discord that we share stuff in and we talk in.
That's awesome. A lot of great opportunity, information to be shared there. So repeat that website, Feel Better
Inc. So it's PHILBETTERIN as in Nancy C.com/mastermind. I just want to double check that it's still up there. It should redirect you. Looking now, my internet's a little slow. I apologize. Yeah, it brings you to the podcast mastermind website, just like that. So feelbetterinc.com/mastermind will bring you to the podcast mastermind website. You can learn all about it and even get signed up there. And yeah, we're looking forward to anybody who has a podcast and is passionate about podcasting. Looking forward to having you guys there.
Awesome. So yeah, everybody go check that out. Great resource. And Phil, any last words for people who might have just started a podcast, who are on the borderline thinking, maybe like you use the analogy of the book. So this person does a podcast similar to what I want to do. Any last words for them?
All right, this is for everybody. If you're going to start a podcast, you have a podcast, or you want to grow your podcast. So if you're thinking about starting a podcast, just do it. Like Nike says, just do it. Just start. If you have a podcast and you're starting the production of the podcast and you're still early in your podcast, this is advice that you need to implement now. If you're an established podcaster and you don't have this advice I'm about to give, start. It's going to take your podcast to the next level. And if you're struggling, if you're a super successful podcaster, you should have this already. If you don't, get on it, you could become even more successful. But it's called your ideal listener profile. Okay. This is the one individual, the single solitary person that you're making your podcast for. Jeff Lee Dumas, a god in the podcasting world, talks about it. Pat Flynn talks about it. Russell Brunson talks about it. All these super successful people who use podcasting to build a business talk about your ideal listener profile. Okay. This is the one person you want to listen to your podcast. They are you don't care about Joe Schmo, Kenny, Phil. This person is the only person you're making your podcast for. Okay. I make my podcast, each one of my podcasts has a different listener profile because it's different people that I made this podcast for. So what you want to do is you want to give them a name. Literally create the bio of this individual. You can find thousands of templates online. Just go ideal customer profile, ideal listener profile. I have one. If you're interested, I don't know where you can get it, but if you go to feelbetterinc.com/consult, and I give you a free 15-minute, I'll give you a free 15-minute action plan. We'll talk 15 minutes. I'll give you everything you need, and I'll share that with you. So that, again, that's feelbetterinc.com/consult, all lowercase. But yeah, you do their name, their age, their occupation, how much they make, their hobbies, their likes, their dislikes, when they listen to podcasts, how long does it take them to travel, what days of the week they like the podcast. Like, go into as much depth as possible, be as specific as possible, because eventually you'll actually walk out and go into a convention or something, or someone will come up to you and be like, hi, I'm XYZ, and that's going to be your podcaster's profile. You'll be, holy fuck, or sorry for swearing, holy fudge, you're my ideal listener. And they nearly hit every single point on that. But by having that specific person that you're making your podcast for, you'll be able to know exactly where people similar to them that have similar likes, interests, where they hang out. And then you can join those communities, become one of those communities, and share your podcast with that community. Not by spamming your link, but let's say, Johnny in the group goes, yeah, I'm having a problem finding, let's say we're doing it on Kenny's podcast for passion, purpose, and possibilities, right? I'm having a hard time finding finding purpose in my passion. I like writing, let's say that. And Kenny's like, holy moly, I had an interview with a world-class author, someone who started from nothing. I think this would be great. You go over to the guy, you go like, hey Johnny, I fully understand, following your passion to get a purpose and the possibilities are hard. I love that you're into writing. I actually interviewed XYZ author, and he had some tips on how to use writing to further your passion, your purpose, and your possibilities, right? Always tying it into whatever your podcast name is, or whatever, if you can. Then you go tip 1, tip 2, tip 3, tip 4, right? And you give them just the overview of the tip. If you're interested in learning more, let me know, or getting more information about these tips, I can share the interview with you or the podcast with you. Obviously, when you give that away to someone who is your ideal listener, right? Because it's someone who wants to follow their passion. They're going to be like, heck yeah, give me that. Because they're like, if already Kenny's giving me pretty much the meat of the podcast, the good bits of the podcast in digestible form, imagine what he's not sharing with me, all that juicy, succulent knowledge that this world-class author, left. And they're going to come and they're going to be like, yeah, give me the link. You drop the link and you're going to see more downloads than you ever believed. I did that for an episode. One of my first episodes, a guest talked about monetizing their podcast. This is Ralph Sutton of Gas Digital, huge podcaster in his own right. He came on my show. He was one of the first 3 guests I had on the Digital Entrepreneur podcast. He came on and told the story about how he monetized his show SDR first time. He also talked about how he got syndicated. He got his radio show syndicated across the Eastern Seaboard after having not even launched any episodes, pretty much, or a show or any parts of his show on the radio. He talked about that, and in a Facebook group for podcasters, someone asked about how to monetize their show, how to get sponsors. So I literally wrote, I had Ralphson on my podcast from Gas Digital. He literally went to his boss at the time and asked for him to sponsor the show and gave him a pitch on the show, on what the show was about. The boss immediately said yes. If you want to hear the whole story, let me know, and I'll put the link. Guy responds, yes, give me the link. Post the link. I got an additional 36 downloads just from doing that. Now, imagine if I did that in 10 different groups and I got 36 downloads in each one of those groups. That's 360 extra downloads to my podcast. That's 360 chances that someone in that will become a listener of my podcast. And there's a chance that that person will end up become a raving fan of my podcast and share it with a whole bunch of other people, growing my podcast. That's a possibility. So having an ideal listener, knowing who you're making your podcast for and saying it's for everybody. I don't want a pie that was made for everybody. I want a pie that was made just for me. I want my warm blueberry pie. I'm not an apple pie guy. I like blueberry pie. But I like apple pie, but blueberry pie is my favorite, right? I want a blueberry pie. I want a blueberry pie made specifically the way I like it. So that's what you want to do. You want to make your podcast specifically for one person. They're going to listen to it. They're going to become a raving fan. They're going to share that with everybody who likes similar stuff that they do. And you're going to grow. So that's what you have to do. Figure out who you're making your podcast for. And they'll be your best friend. So if you need help with that, I have a Facebook group. I have a whole bunch of stuff. feelbetterinc.com/consult. Sign up, free 15 minutes. I'll give you all the links and all that, but that's pretty much it.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. Just like setting a goal, you want to be as detailed as possible and, know where you want your podcast to go. And then also, as we were discussing before, it may take some time. You may not have all the pieces to the puzzle yet, and that's okay. You may not meet that ideal thing or may not get connected with this person. I was a year and a half into my podcast before I got connected with you. So there's some time factor in there, so I love that. Phil, thank you so much for sharing that and for being here. Everyone go to the website, philbetterinc.com, and connect with him. Very good individual. I'd highly recommend it. He's got a lot of knowledge. He's got some more of that juicy knowledge sitting in the background, ready to be shared.
I'm going to be going actually live today at 3 p.m. Eastern, sharing more knowledge, showing how to automate your show notes for podcasters. It's my monthly webinar. I do it every month, once a month. So, yeah.
Awesome. So if you want more information on that, connect with him and see what that's about. And again, everyone, thank you for tuning in, taking the time to be here. Remember to live your passion, fulfill your purpose, and explore those possibilities.